Pepsi's foray into the Soviet Union and the country's bizarre obsession with the cola beverage is a story for the ages. In fact, as a result of this obsession, for a very brief moment in the 1980s, Pepsi was the sixth largest military operator in the world. This is Siddhant, and welcome to Let's Do Shots. In the late 1950s, America wanted to bring American culture to the Soviet Union. Well, not American culture as much as American companies. USA basically wanted to bring capitalism to the Soviet Union. To do this, they organized an American National Exhibition in Moscow. This exhibition showcased the American way of life, and as luck would have it, Pepsi was one of the companies which had set up shop at this exhibition. Richard Nixon, who was the vice president at the time, also attended this and played a vital role in bringing Pepsi to the USSR. Now remember, before this, no foreign company had ever sold any product in the USSR. That is how significant this market entry was going to be. One of Pepsi's executives, who was a friend of Nixon's, asked Nixon to somehow get a cup of Pepsi in Soviet leader Nikita Khrushchev's hands. Nixon, however, ended up having a debate with Khrushchev about capitalism versus communism, but eventually led him to that Pepsi stall, where rumor has it the Soviet leader had 6 cups of Pepsi. And voila, Pepsi got the PR stunt that they wanted. Photos of the Soviet leader having Pepsi was printed in all leading newspapers the next morning. Even with the success of this stunt, it eventually took 10 long years to bring Pepsi to the country when the Soviets faced another roadblock. How were they going to pay for Pepsi? The Soviet currency was not accepted anywhere else in the world, and currency export was restricted. So they gave Pepsi the next best thing to money. For every bottle of Pepsi, the Soviet Union gave back a bottle of vodka. Yes, vodka. Pepsi in turn started selling that vodka in the USA. The Soviet appetite for Pepsi was increasing by the day, but there was only as much vodka the Americans could drink. So eventually, when the time came for a larger deal, vodka was not going to be enough to cover the cost. So what did they do? They traded Pepsi a fleet of 20 military warships in exchange for Pepsi worth $3 billion. I'm going to say that again. The Soviet Union gave Pepsi military warships in exchange for $3 billion worth of Pepsi. This deal made Pepsi the 6th largest military in the world at the time, before they sold this fleet to a Swedish company eventually. The Pepsi CEO was famously quoted telling the then National Security Advisor to the president that, hey, we are disarming the Soviet Union faster than you are. Eventually, the Soviet Union broke down into 15 different countries, and all the hard work done by Pepsi had to be started again from scratch. But that's an entirely different shot. That's all for today. Until next time, let's do shots.